bucket and accidentally hits the Duke player lamb up the throat. Refs ruled it accidental. It was a no call, which it was accidental, but still supposed to be a flagrant one, I guess, because it's a shot either way. Virginia Tech wins it 78-75. Wow. Double weird. Hawks, Bulls. This happens every other game, and Weird and Wonderful. This time, Trae Young.
Maybe that should just be what he tries to do.
What? You're anti-Trae Young?
Of course.
Really?
I'm pro-winning basketball. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Trae can.
What about your Lakers
love empty
fandom?
calories.
Kyrie Jr. is
Exactly. Exactly right.
Bulls win. Hawks at 500. Wonderful. Bucks, Pistons. Marshall with a big dunk there. The Bucks score 150 points on the Pistons.
No surprise.
Dusty, that's on you. You told me Jaden Ivey was going to be a difference maker. Bucks put up 150. Weird. Sacramento and Grizzlies. Dylan Brooks, not great. Light the beam. Kings are third in the West. Ended the game on a 31-5 run.
They're good, man.
Sabonis,
they're just flatly good.
Sacramento.
They have two legitimate all-stars.
I know when Sabonis went there, like, oh no.
Because they traded Halliburton, who's also an all-star.
Right.
But Fox, they're good, man. Okay. Shout out Sacktown. Got a lot of
Mike Brown, done a great job.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spurs in Portland. Weird and Wonderful favorite, Shaedon Sharp. He makes the show every other day.
Don't try to steal him from me, Wild.
I love him. I put him in Weird and Wonderful all the time.
Shaedon Sharp's a little too good for Wilds to want.
Blazers put up 147 in a win. He's a role player.
Not for long. He is right now, but he's
Şengün is the best young center in the league. Maybe the best that we've seen since who? Shaq. 20 years old.
Wait,
Islanders Maple Leaf. The guy told you there was hockey.
We getting some
Brock Nelson. Some dental work on the bench. He pulls his own tooth out. I thought this was kind of cool, and everybody in the comments was like, I did this when I was 7. I said, good point. Islanders lose 5-2. Now it is time for the saga of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Chapter 107. Am I going to stay on this team? Ian Rappaport reporting that the Packers could trade the 4-time MVP and ayahuasca enthusiast for, quote, the right package. Nick, who should jump at this offer?
Okay, first of all, I usually save the gambling advice for Nick's picks, but I hadn't seen these odds. America, do not put your money on the Niners. The plus 250 for the Niners is a ludicrous idea. It's not happening, and cap-wise, it's an impossibility. That is a sucker's bet. If you're going to bet someone, then don't bet that. That's just public service announcement.
You bet $1,000.
All right, so here's the deal. I wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers next year. I would not trade for Aaron Rodgers. I would not bring Aaron Rodgers in. I would not want to pay Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old and going to turn 40. Take Tom Brady out of the equation. Can we look at the old great quarterbacks, how old they were when it ended, and how they looked at the end? So Elway got his passer rating went up a bit, but if you watched him, that was a Terrell Davis team. Marino, it fell off a cliff. Warner, it started to deteriorate. Peyton fell off a cliff. Eli, he only played 4 games. It fell off a cliff. Phillip Rivers, I promise you that 97 rating was not good. We watched that year with the Colts. Big Ben, it fell off a cliff. Favre, it fell off a cliff. And Breeze, again, the numbers look good. If you watched him at the end, it fell off a cliff. For Rodgers, we already saw the cliff. It's not projecting. It just happened.
Broken thumb.
In his age 39 season. So I looked around the league, Brew, and I was like, okay, who could possibly want him? It's like, oh, what about the Jets? But he's not on the right timeline for them, in my opinion.
I agree.
They got young guys. So it's like, wait, a team that needs a quarterback, that has veteran stars, and the Raiders. He should go to the Raiders. Here's the problem. Why do we think Aaron Rodgers next year would be better than Derek Carr? And they decided Derek Carr wasn't good enough. Can we show that? Because Rodgers this year versus Carr is close. And keep in mind that Rodgers missed a game. Mm-hmm. So it's close. And Rodgers is clearly on the downslope because of the age. So if Carr wasn't, you're bringing in the ego, the money, all of it, Brew. I'm not interested.
I do think the Raiders should go after him. Now, look, you got rid of Carr. That's the bottom line. You could have argued they should have kept Carr, but they got rid of him. You're not replacing him with Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham has, I think, 7 interceptions and 6 touchdowns in his career. Okay, he is not the guy. You want to bring in a guy that I would think Devontae Adams is going to be excited about. So you bring in Aaron Rodgers. As long as you re-sign Josh Jacobs, you got the run game. You got receivers, not just Adams, but Waller. All right, the defense, I think, can improve. You got some good pieces with Crosby and Chandler Jones, so you can improve the defense, I would think. And here's the thing, too. With the Raiders, look, they've been to the playoffs 2 times in the last 20 years. You don't have to go there and win the Super Bowl. You know how I've been critical about Rodgers in championship games. Mm-hmm. But if you just get to the playoffs, again, it's the AFC, it'll be tough. But if you just get to the playoffs, that will be a success. The Raiders at this point just want to be relevant. And so I would go get Rodgers for a year or 2 and see if he can at least make us a sexy playoff team.
Okay, since you guys mentioned those teams, I have my teams that I feel like Aaron Rodgers should, or teams that should go after Aaron Rodgers, because I do believe that there will be takers out there, period. I get what you're saying, and he is older, but I think now what we've seen is players are going to be playing a little older, specifically at that position. So the Jets were one of those teams. If we can put this up, this is my honorable mention. I don't think it's going to happen, and the reason why I got a question mark right here by the Jets is because I just don't like the idea of literally following the footsteps of Brett Favre. It just feels something about it is just like,
in every way he is.
No, the shadow, I had to do that when I took over for Brett Favre, and then I leave Green Bay and go right where he went.
Yeah. And by the time he leaves the Jets, Cousins probably out in Minnesota. Go there too. Do the whole thing.
There you go. There you go. So for me, number 3 is the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers. Stay right where you're at. You obviously are developing some chemistry with the young guys. It started to look good once Christian Watson started to come to his own and you started to believe in him. I think you understand what's expected of you. Those guys appreciate you. You can stay there. And it's still in the NFC.
Right.
Here's my second team, the Raiders.
Okay.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
No helmet this time.
No helmet needed, because when you go to a team that has one of the best receivers in all of football, you just compared his numbers to Derek Carr. Derek Carr had one of the best receivers in all of football, and those were his numbers. And we felt like it wasn't enough. If you give Aaron Rodgers that type of weaponry all over again, he is going to be a lot better. I like their situation defensively. You laid it out, what they need to do and what they have. But number 1, got to stay in the NFC. Commanders. I like the Commanders, and before everybody jumps on why they don't like it, think about this. Number 1 in the NFC East, there has not been a repeat title defender since 2003 or something like that. Like, this is going to be a division that's up for grabs. It's in the NFC. You're going to have an opportunity. You got receivers over there. The young Jahan Dotson, he's a touchdown scoring machine. Yep. Terry McLaurin had his best year ever. J.D. McKissic will be coming off injury. You got running backs. They need to improve the offensive line. I like Ron Rivera. There's a team that if you insert, given their health, defensively we know what they are. They can be really stout. If given their health, you put a quarterback in there right now, that team wants to win right now.
I don't hate it. I'm surprised you didn't have New Orleans on there, though.
I thought about New Orleans.
New Orleans can't do it.
But
I'm
surprised
$6 million over the cap.
That's why I knew my resident GM was going to be like, no.
You can't do it.
I'm surprised there wasn't a number 2 on there.
Yeah. Hey, everybody makes mistakes.
Larry Bird themed. Hey, what's next for Tom Brady? We discuss next.